Hello everybody, this is Leo. Thank you for watching the video. Well, I'm coming at you with another New World video. The game's been out about 4 weeks now. It's had its ups and downs. If you've been following the game at all, I'm sure that you've heard the critics and the haters giving you all of the details about the downside, but I'm going to try to give you a little more balanced viewpoint. Now, let's talk about what this game is. This is an MMORPG that, rather than having tab targeting like your good old World of Warcraft or your EverQuest 2, things like that, it's what they call action combat. So you have to aim your shots. Now, this has thrown off a lot of the traditional MMORPG players because it sounds like, PvP, Twitch combat. It's all reflexes, and I'm not really good at that, and so you're going to stick with something that you're more comfortable with, that you don't have that you don't have to aim yourself. And this isn't helped by the fact that the way that Amazon Gaming Studios marketed this seemed to be toward like your Call of Duty third-person shooter guys who were looking for something with a little more crafting or something with a little more in-depth story. So what this has basically done is this has attracted a crowd to an MMORPG that aren't really MMORPG kind of people, and it has turned off MMORPG people who would be attracted to this game. So I'm going to kind of try to set some of this straight. So number one thing, yes, PvP is a big part of this game. They have Outpost Rush, which they just got those fixed. From what I've seen, the content creators who are participating in those, they love them. They think it's one of the best things they've done, and as that part of the game continues to develop, they think it's going to be great. There's also combat over territories. Now, as far as you as a player who doesn't want to get in and actually fight for your right to territory and make your mark on the world by force of arms, really doesn't affect you that much. If your faction, there are 3 factions, if your faction controls the territory and town you're in, then you get discounts on things. If not, then you don't get the discounts. That's basically all it is. And if you really want the discounts, then you can move to a territory that your faction does control. Now, so if you're an MMORPG player and you are looking for an MMORPG that is a ball to play, that has some very interesting mechanics, that is beautiful to look at, that is off to a great start, then this is a really good game for you. Now, if you're a Call of Duty player, third-person shooter fan, and you're just looking for more of that, only with crafting or something like that, you're going to be disappointed. You're going to come play this game, you're going to be screaming about how Amazon Gaming Studios sucks and how New World sucks, and and you're going to feel like you were sold a bill of goods. And to be honest, I think that you were. So with that being said, let's get into the 3 factions. Now, there are 3 factions, and each one of these factions has their own lore. There's the Marauders, there is the Syndicate, and there is what's the third one? It's the religious people, the Coven, not the Coven. Anyway, it's the religious ones. Nobody has been paying any attention to that. They come on here, they pick a color that they like, the color that their friends are in, or they go to a server and they say, oh look, most of the territories are controlled by X color. That's the color I'm going to be joining because I want to be on the winning team. Now, I joined the Syndicate because I like the lore behind the Syndicate. I don't care if the faction controls more territory or any of that. It doesn't really affect me. So when you come into the game, if you're an MMORPG player and you're more into the role-playing aspects of it, and you want to get into the lore, read the lore, and choose the faction that suits you. Now, PvP. If you want to get into PvP, there are multiple ways to do that. For traditional PvE MMORPG players. That means you don't want to go out and just duel people or fight other players. You contribute to the PvP effort by building up your town, and this also builds you up because you go and you grab missions at the town board, and you get missions that like upgrade your town defenses, upgrade your infrastructure so that your crafting tables are higher tier so you can craft better stuff. And all of this helps with your town, makes your town stronger, economically stronger, militarily stronger, and you don't ever have to swing a sword at another player the whole time that you're playing. And so when you come into this, if you come into it with the mindset of it's just an MMORPG that's got a layer of PvP on top of it, that's not, you don't have to participate in it except in this very oblique way where you're doing these missions that are trade skill oriented basically, which are helping you level up your trade skills. All your trades you get. Your trade skill XP also gets you adventuring XP, so you get your levels on that. Now, as far as the other ups and downs that Amazon Gaming Studios have had, the rollout of their game was really good. They got overloaded. I think they got hit with something like 750,000 people that first week. They weren't ready for it, and they, boom, rolled out just tons of servers. Everybody could get into a server to play. Now, as that initial frenzy has wore off and the player base has fallen, they offered everybody a free server transfer token. There were some bugs with that because I don't really think they had that planned out really good. Took them a couple days to get that worked out. When they got that worked out, since they kind of did it on you could tell, they were just in a frenzy to get it done. There were some mistakes made. A couple other bugs crept into the game, but they're methodically working their way through it. For less than a month into launch, I think the game is doing really, really well. And I've been at the launch of a lot of games, and I have seen many, if not most, MMORPG launches have went way worse than this one. Server choice. Now, I made a mistake. I've made mistakes playing this game. Things I wish I'd known before playing this game. If you live east of the Rockies, then pick the North American East cluster. If you live west of the Rockies, then pick the North American West cluster. And of course, if you live in the EU, there's a EU cluster. There's other clusters for around the world. There's no Southeast Asia. Now I think there's a South American one, but if you're in South Asia, Southeast Asia, you have to go through Australia, the Australian cluster. What I did was I went on to the West Coast servers, thinking, well, I'm going to be soloing a lot and so on and so forth. And the problem with that being was that by the time people were coming on to do the group content that I wanted to do, the dungeons or expeditions as Amazon Gaming Studio calls them, I was basically done for the day. I'd had enough and I was ready to call it quits for the day. So I was having a hard time getting done. So you cannot transfer from one cluster to another. You can transfer within servers on the East Coast or on the West Coast, but you can't transfer from East Coast to West Coast. So I re-rolled. I'm on the East Coast now, and I'm a lot better off here. I'm happier here, and my character, I've got him almost back up. I've got this character almost back to where my old character was, and he's a lot better off than he was because I made other mistakes. As far as how to build him, where to put his attribute points and things like that. That's how I know I've been talking 10 minutes. My screen goes off after 10 minutes. So I'm going to try to wrap this up. There is a lot of detail, a lot of depth to this game. There is a steep learning curve, like with most MMORPGs. But if you're used to playing Elder Scrolls Online, you'll be able to adapt to the combat system of this game pretty easily. You only have, at any one time, you only have 3 active abilities. As far as hotbar abilities, now your auto attack is your left mouse button, and your block is your right mouse button. Your dodge is the left shift key, and that's about it. The game gives you a good tutorial coming in. The game costs $40, and as long as you come into it knowing that this is an MMORPG with PvP, based on what I've seen and the judgments that I've heard from the more reasonable content creators, good PvP options if you want to really get into fighting hand to hand with your fellow players, then this is a great game. I mean, it is an awesome game. I can see myself playing this for quite a while. I'm on the server Cedar Forest. I think I'm going to stay on this server as time goes on and the player base continues to become more realistic and stabilizes for like long term. They're going to be doing some server mergers. But I'm on Arcadia Ada, which is the most populated East Coast server cluster, but within that cluster I'm on one of the more moderately populated servers, which as time goes on, as the server populations fluctuate and some pick up more and some lose, they're going to issue free server transfer tokens, so that if your server is dying and you want to go to a more populated server, you can do that. And they're also in the future equipped to merge servers within a cluster together. So Cedar Forest might cease to exist at one time, but if you decide you want to play this game and you want to be on a moderately sized server where you can get out and actually find nodes to harvest without being outcompeted by people who are camping them or whatever, this is a good server to be on. I've learned a lot of lessons about playing this game, and I would be more than happy to help you. It costs $40. Now, also you've got to read the system specifications carefully. Make sure your computer can handle the game, because it's no joke. I mean, this is fairly taxing on a computer, especially when there are a lot of people in town. I mean, I'm running a fairly beefy computer, and I run it on high settings. But here in town, not right now, but when it gets really, really crowded, my frame rates can dip below 60. And I built this computer to be able to play almost any game at 1080p at 60 hertz, and this game taxes that when there are a lot of people here in town. So anyway, if you like MMORPGs and you were scared that this was going to be a Call of Duty PvP Twitch gaming fast reflex kind of game that just wasn't your style, don't even worry about that. If you have been seeing that the critics and haters have been running it down, it's just because it's not what they were thinking that it was supposed to be. It's not what they were sold. It's not what Amazon Gaming kind of made it out to be. So you've got to take what they say with a grain of salt. If you like crafting, if you like adventuring, if you like exploring, if you like beautiful environments, if you like deep and meaningful gameplay, this has everything, except it doesn't have the storytelling of Final Fantasy XIV. That is the only thing that it lacks. But everything else, I give it a grade of A+. Anyway, my name is Leo. Thank you for watching the video, and I look forward to talking to you next time.